One of Uttar Pradesh's senior most police officers and one of its best known police officers, Amitabh Thakur, has taken his complaint against Uttar Pradesh's leader, Akhilesh Yadav's father and leader of the Samajwadi Party, Mulayam Singh Yadav, now to the Home Ministry. He wants a CBI probe. This after Amitabh Thakur released an audio clip, a recording that he says is of his conversation with Mulayam Singh Yadav, where Mulayam Singh Yadav essentially threatened him, told him sudhar jao, and virtually warned him of dire consequences if Amitabh Thakur continued to take on Mulayam Singh Yadav. In some ways, that threat came true, because 24 hours later, Amitabh Thakur was booked for rape. And this is something that Amitabh Thakur is saying is payback for him having stood up to Mulayam Singh Yadav. Joining us now on this special broadcast, we are joined by IPS officer Amitabh Thakur, and we are also joined by senior leader of the Samajwadi Party, Gaurav Bhatia. But before I come to both of you, let's first play the audio clip released. The audio clip released by Amitabh Thakur that began the entire controversy.
हेलो
जय हिंद सर, अमिताभ बोल रहा हूँ सर।
अमिताभ ठाकुर
सर आदेश सर।
जसाना की दावत वाली बात भूल गए आप, यही करना पड़ेगा आपका।
सर आदेश करें सर।
आदेश का आप मना तो कर रहे, तो जसाना में रामवीर के यहाँ जब दावत थी
सर,
तो भूल गए आप?
सर मैं समझ नहीं पाया सर।
जब आप थे?
जी सर मैं था तो सर वहाँ सर। आप जब आप मुख्यमंत्री थे सर।
इतनी बदतमीजी थे आप तो।
क्या हो गया सर?
सब बता रहे कि मना था, मना तो कर रहे।
जी सर
सब समझ रहे, तुम बहुत बड़े भले। ताज साहब ने कहा, पता है आपको, रामवीर की दावत में स्कूल में ले गए अंदर।
सर मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ सर।
तो हमें बचाया तो फिरते से
सर।
हाँ बचाया था, फिरते संवारना चाहते थे, स्कूल में ले गए थे आपको।
सर क्या आदेश है, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ सर।
उससे ज्यादा हो जाएगा आपका, बता दे रहा हूँ। तो अगर ठीक चलो
सर। सर
हमें आपसे हमदर्दी रही, साथ रहे, तुम्हारे घर वाले पटना गए
सर,
तो घर वालों ने कहा मेरा लड़का है, देखे रहना
सर।
साथ सब चुप रह जाते
सर।
हाँ
नहीं सर क्या हुआ, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ सर।
मैं समझ में ये नहीं आया, तो बना उसके खिलाफ करने लगते शुरू।
किसके खिलाफ सर?
अब हम बता देंगे आपको फोन में।
सर
अब आप सुधर जाइए, तय कह दिया मैंने।
Sudhar Jaiye, says Mulayam Singh Yadav to Amitabh Thakur. The authenticity of that recording not questioned by the Samajwadi Party. Instead, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Akhilesh Yadav, saying Mr. Yadav was just advising Amitabh Thakur, and going on to say he even advises me like that sometimes. Let's go straight now to Gaurav Bhatia and Amitabh Thakur. Amitabh Thakur, first let me ask you, why would Mulayam Singh Yadav need to threaten you? आपको किस बात की धमकी दे रहे हैं और किस कारण से?
To the best of my knowledge, and my information, and to the best of my abilities, I could understand what Mr. Mulayam Singh was saying was that because he uses a word, आपने FIR करा दी. This FIR was registered only a day before by my wife Nutan Thakur, who is an activist, against Mr. Gayatri Prajapati, who universally acknowledged is supposed to be the blue-eyed boy of Mr. Mulayam Singh.
Yes.
Mr. Gayatri Prajapati is the mining minister. My wife's fault, and I would say by fault at that point of time and till date, is that we somehow got involved in the Lokayukt complaint. She filed the complaint, and despite in the very beginning my wife being threatened to get out of this complaint, she pursued it. 5 complainants came, they all withdrew. She only held her ground, and the result is that today I am a rapist by fictitious rape.
So you are saying, Amitabh Thakur, that because your wife Nutan Thakur filed a case against Mr. Prajapati, minister in the state government, whom you are calling blue-eyed boy of Mulayam Singh Yadav, आपके खिलाफ रेप का केस दर्ज किया गया है?
This is exactly what I am saying, and till date, till 9th of July, I had been under the thinking that it is Mr. Gayatri Prajapati who has been orchestrating all kinds of, we had to, for the last 6 months, we had to pass through all kinds of ordeals. On 3rd of January, and all of them are documented, we got a threat that my wife shall withdraw her complaint, otherwise I being in service, we will be in trouble. Then two anonymous complaint cases of rape came on the same day before the State Women Commission. So till 9th of July, we thought it was Mr. Prajapati.
Ji.
But the final phone call from whom we all call Sapa Supremo, SP Supremo, we call him.
Ji.
And I never knew in my insignificant posting, Mr. Mulayam Singh, who is supposed to be the ultimate authority in Uttar Pradesh, would be calling me.
Ji.
And he called me and he said, Sudhar jaiye and don't do the FIR again, otherwise you will face dire consequences. So I realized then that I had been thinking wrongly about Mr. Prajapati, all through possibly it was Mr. Mulayam Singh.
Let me bring in Gaurav Bhatia now. Gaurav Bhatia, what is this language? How does a senior politician say to a police officer, Sudhar jaiye? How does a senior politician like Mulayam Singh Yadav refer to a 2006 incident in which Amitabh Thakur was beaten up badly, in which Mulayam Singh Yadav clearly intervened to save his life and basically warn him ki usse bhi bura hoga? Is this not a clear threat? How can we take the rape case against Amitabh Thakur seriously when it comes just a few hours after this audio clip is put into the public domain?
Now, Barkha, please allow me some time because there are many crucial aspects that haven't come to light. And with utmost respect to a police officer, not just to the person who is sitting with you, I would only say that it is important to point out that Mr. Amitabh Thakur does not disclose that this rape case against him is not the result of the complaint that he filed. Rather, it is on record that the rape complaint by the person, and I wouldn't like to name the person, it wouldn't be legally right, was filed on 14 Jan 2015. After that, an inquiry was being done. And when there was material that supported the complaint, and it's a serious charge of rape, it was converted into an FIR under 376. I think it is duty of a responsible IPS officer when he goes public to reveal the full facts
you're
to
saying,
that
Gaurav,
this complaint was given.
From what you're saying, you're saying that the rape case, the rape FIR was filed before this threatening phone call. Is that what
I
you're
am
saying?
giving you the exact date, and it is also, yes, with some responsibility, and let Mr. Amitabh Thakur deny it. This complaint was given by a lady alleging that Mr. Amitabh Thakur had raped her on 14th Jan 2015. Rather, it shows that the state government did not just proceed to politically have a vendetta against Mr. Amitabh Thakur, waited, inquired, and then registered an FIR. This is one aspect of it.
Okay.
Second, let me come to a very important point which has been hidden from the general public regarding the credentials of Mrs. Nutan Thakur and Mr. Amitabh Thakur. And these are not allegations that we are making. I am reading from the High Court judgment of Lucknow bench. What does the High Court say? The High Court says, we are informed and are confirmed by Nutan Thakur, the petitioner appearing in person, that she has filed about 140 writ petitions under the category of public interest litigation.
Yes.
She appears in court almost every day for these matters.
Therefore
she
what?
has become
Therefore what?
Therefore, if you just bear with me, Barkha, if you will allow me time, each point would have substance. Please do not interrupt. The more important part is even a husband, a serving IPS officer of IG rank, indulges in filing writ petitions in public interest numbering more than 20 up to the beginning of the month. And then the High Court said that they should not be filing frivolous PILs.
Hang on, Gaurav.
And also
Gaurav,
kept
hang
the
on. You're
condition
mixing up
for-
issues. Now you're mixing up issues. On one hand, you've said that the rape case
I am
was
not
filed.
mixing
One
the-
minute.
I am not mixing.
1 minute. You have not yet explained
Barkha,
why Mulayam Singh
I am
Yadav.
not mixing the issues.
1 minute. I must allow Amitabh
I am
to
not
point
mixing
by
the
point.
issues.
I must allow him to point by point
No, I
respond to
would
what you
first
said.
place my points.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute. None of
Okay,
us are
you
running
want-
away.
yes.
None of us are running away. We're on live television. We're not running away.
Yeah.
First, Amitabh Thakur.
So he
Gaurav
can answer
Bhatia
the
says-
complaint part that I addressed.
I am coming back to you. 1 minute. One point by point. The Samajwadi Party, Mr. Amitabh Thakur says that the rape case was actually, the process to file the rape case was started in January 2015. Please respond to this.
See, what Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, definitely he being in Delhi, he doesn't know the facts. And another thing, possibly he is a very good lawyer in Supreme Court, that is what it said. He said that the rape case was brought before the police on 14th of Jan. he says, and it was verified and the FIR was registered later. Does he know or does he not know that if a rape FIR is brought before the police, and if it was brought before the police on 14th of Jan, what was the UP police doing for the last 5 months? Did it medically examine the lady? And if it did not, who is responsible for it? Was the DGP put for task for that? And why was the FIR not registered
Now,
immediately
can I
on 14th of
respond,
Jan?
Barkha?
The way Mr. Gaurav Bhatia said, rape is a very serious case. It is a very serious charge. And if the lady came on 14th of Jan, as Mr. Gaurav Bhatia said,
Thakur, are you saying that this
Barkha,
case was 1 minute,
Barkha.
Gaurav? 1 minute, Gaurav. Are you saying, Amitabh Thakur, that the case was filed only yesterday? The rape case was filed only yesterday.
No, definitely, ma'am. He knows that. Actually, it's a very long story. But the crux of it is that, in fact, and this lady also, along with Mr. Prajapati, we filed a case against this lady, whose case was filed on 10th. After I filed the petition after I filed the case against Mr. Mulayam Singh,
Okay.
and Mr. Gaurav Bhatia knows very well that if the complaint came on 14th, and if the government was so serious about the complaint, it should have been immediately
Okay, good
registered.
question.
It was
Gaurav
not.
Bhatia,
It was left
if
in
the complaint
bewilderment.
came, okay, 1 minute. Gaurav, now let me ask a question. If the complaint came in January 2015, Amitabh Thakur is right in saying, what were you doing? Or rather, what was the state government doing all these months? 1. 2, even if you seek to delink the rape charge from Mulayam Singh Yadav's threat, you have not answered why Mulayam Singh Yadav was saying to Amitabh Thakur, sudhar jao, nahi to jo 2006 mein hua tha, usse bhi bura hone wala hai. Is this not a plain and simple threat? Is this not muscle flexing?
Yeah, Barkha, I will come to each and every issue if you allow me the time.
Yes.
But it was very important first to bring to public notice the correct facts, and Mr. Amitabh Thakur did not deny the fact that this complaint came in January 2015. The Women Commission was looking into it, and he is legally right that when the charges are serious and it relates to rape, in fact, the Supreme Court judgment says the FIR should be registered immediately. But at least it goes on to prove that this FIR is not a result and is not due to
So why did it take 5 months?
Mr. Amitabh
Why did it
Thakur.
take 5 months, Mr.
No,
Bhatia? Why did it take 5
And
months?
the very next day,
Barkha,
after
told
I
you-
leveled charge
I
against
told
Mr.
you
Ram Singh
that
Yadav.
if it is a
And
matter,
the question is,
now
why was the
Mr.
FIR
Amitabh
registered the
Thakur,
very next day after I
I
leveled the
think
charge against
you
Mr.
should
Ram Singh
allow
Yadav?
me to place the facts. Something has disturbed you that I have revealed
No,
the correct
because
facts.
this is
You have not
absolutely,
denied that the
I would say
complaint
a
came in
false
Jan.
fact.
And I think because it involved a senior IPS officer, the police, rather than being vindictive, was being careful in registering the FIR. Now it would be investigated thoroughly, and Mr. Amitabh Thakur would have to face the consequences. So first of all, it's not targeting Mr. Amitabh Thakur. Now coming to the audio recording
Yes.
that has been submitted by Mr. Amitabh Thakur.
Yes.
I think that is the main issue.
Yes.
And let me demolish whatever he has said so far.
Yes.
First of all, without admitting any of the contents, Barkha, because that would prejudice Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav at a later stage, I would still deal with the facts and whatever Mr. Amitabh Thakur has submitted. Mr. Amitabh Thakur, when he gave a complaint, never gave the original clip which he has recorded, which should have been given, as you would also understand, which was primary evidence to see whether it is a genuine clip, whether it has been doctored or not. He never submitted that in the complaint.
But
and
you've
he
had
can
3
respond
days
it
to
after I
question
have
the
completed.
authenticity of the audio, Gaurav. For 3 days, this
I'm
clip,
not
this
even-
clip was
I'm-
put in the public
Barkha,
domain on Saturday.
you did-
Akhilesh Yadav said
you
today
didn't
that this is
understand my
Mulayam Singh
point.
Yadav was only
You did
advising
not-
Amitabh Thakur.
You did not hear me carefully, Barkha.
Okay.
I
Okay.
said something different.
Okay.
Legally speaking,
Yes.
the Indian Evidence Act says the primary piece of evidence, which in this case happens to be the clip, and the learned IPS officer ought to have known this, should have been submitted with the complaint, which he did not.
Where
Now,
does
I
IPC
will
talk
make
about
you
evidences,
understand
Mr.
why-
Gaurav? Mr. Gaurav, the Evidence Act,
I will make my
it is
point.
the Evidence
Mr.
Act, Mr.
Thakur
Gaurav,
need
and not the
be
IPC which
disturbed.
talks about the evidences, I would say.
I will address the
Mr.
contents
Gaurav,
of
the IPC doesn't
complaint
talk about
also.
the evidences.
Bear with
I
me.
kindly correct your statement, Mr. Gaurav.
I said I said Indian Evidence Act. You did not pay attention, Mr. Amitabh Thakur, because you are very disturbed today.
You said
Let
Indian
me just
Penal Code.
expose your lies, and then you will have your chance to rebut me, and I will respect that also. Second, Barkha,
Yes.
what does
Thank you,
the
sir.
complaint say? The complaint clearly says that in the earlier incident also, वहां बचाने वाले कौन थे? मुलायम सिंह यादव जी खुद थे. ये इनकी कंप्लेंट कहती है. So what was the role of Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav? He in fact protected Mr. Amitabh Thakur. Second, in his conversation, rather than threatening Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, even strikes a cordial note to say, आपसे हमदर्दी रही है. मैं पटना गया, घर वालों ने कहा मेरे लड़के का ख्याल रखना, आप सुधर जाइए. And what is wrong in all this?
Because he says Sudhar, what does Sudhar Jaiye mean?
True.
No, 1 minute. What does Sudhar Jaiye mean?
Sudhar Jaiye means this. I will tell you क्यों. Listen to this also
Yes,
now. The most
yes.
important part,
Yes.
Barkha. Mr. Amitabh Thakur, even after being a member of the IPS, and
Yes.
he is governed by the All India Services Rules 1968, and the Rule 7 says criticism of government. No member of the service shall in any radio broadcast or communication over any public media or in any document published anonymously or in his own name or in the name of any other person make any statement, fact or opinion which has the effect of an adverse criticism which is capable of embarrassing the relation between the central
Oh, come
government
on.
and the state
Are you
government.
saying a bureaucrat or a police officer cannot take on wrongdoing in their government because it goes against their service rules? Is that what you are
Barkha, you again
contextualizing
interrupted
Sudhar
me,
Jaiye to
Barkha.
mean? No, what do you mean,
Barkha,
Gaurav? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I will make you understand if you allow me to.
I am
Barkha.
listening to you
But
very
these things are
carefully,
very
but I have
relevant
not
for the
been
debate.
convinced.
Yes. I am telling you, you will be convinced if you allow me to.
Yes.
I'll give you instances. Mr. Amitabh Thakur filed a complaint under section 200 CRPC against Raut, Mr. Raut and Mr. Oaisi. He then went on forward to even talk about some kidney racket running on Facebook, and he also then pointed out certain other things like
What does this
sending
prove? What does
a
this
check
prove?
to
Why does Mulayam
this-
Singh Yadav say
I'll tell you
Sudhar
what it
Jao
proves.
to a senior police officer?
I'll-
What does he mean, Sudhar Jao?
I'll tell
What
you
does
what
this
it
word
proves.
mean, Sudhar Jao? What does it mean? What does it mean?
I'll tell you what it proves. It proves that as a responsible IPS officer, he is supposed to at least comply with the All India Services rules. He hasn't been. He was in fact served a notice by the DJP under Rule 7
Okay,
and
he
Rule 17 for
is
violation.
laughing at what you're saying, so I must allow him to come in. He's laughing at what you're saying, Gaurav. He's laughing. Amitabh जी, आप हंस क्यों रहे हैं? हंस क्यों रहे हैं? हंस क्यों रहे हैं? ये कहते हैं आपने सर्विस
because
वायलेट
that
किए
he
हैं.
is laughing.
Ma'am,
It's good that he is laughing.
because
but
the
I
fact
think
is, ma'am,
he
I
has
always
always been
thought,
making a mockery
I always
of
thought
rules.
Mr. Gaurav Yadav
He's
is an
always been
intelligent
making a mockery of
lawyer.
rules.
He has never heard of, if I am permitted, ma'am,
Yes.
he has never heard of Vijay Shankar Pandey versus Union of India, in which possibly he also represented the state government, where the Honorable Supreme Court very clearly said that raising issues about corruption, about inappropriateness, about improprieties are not under Section 7. Under that Vijay Shankar Pandey case, each and every rule was thoroughly threadbare, it was gone through, and the court concluded that if an IPS officer or IAS officer files a PIL or registers an FIR regarding inappropriateness anywhere in the governance, that shall be welcome.
Okay, Amitabh
and
Thakur,
it
let me
doesn't
ask you a
come
question.
anywhere
Before I
in
go
rules.
back to Gaurav, let me ask Amitabh Thakur.
Barkha.
Gaurav, I'm coming to you in half a second. Amitabh Thakur, my question for you is twofold. One, समाजवादी पार्टी कहती है कि रेप की जो कंप्लेंट थी वो जनवरी में आई थी, इसका ऑडियो टेप से कोई ताल्लुकात नहीं है, पहली बात. और दूसरा ये कहते हैं कि आप सर्विस रूल्स को वायलेट कर रहे हैं. बहुत संक्षेप में आप इन दोनों आरोपों के बारे में क्या कहेंगे? Then I will take it back to Gaurav.
Regarding the rape, it is a long story, but the short is that, as we have been telling, the matter first came in January 14. Immediately, we went to the DGP, I and my wife, I said that let me be medically examined, let the lady be medically examined. And we said Mr. Prajapati is trying to frame us, the DGP slept over the matter for 6 months.
Okay.
And the FIR was registered when I finally made this complaint. That is the first thing.
Okay.
So we initiated the matter, and in fact an FIR is actually registered against that lady also for trying to frame us in this case with the assistance of the State Women Commission. That is the first thing.
Okay.
Regarding the second thing about the conduct rules, if I violate the conduct rules, the state government has all the right and the duty to take me to charge. Still date, no disciplinary inquiry regarding any of my activities is pending there.
Okay,
regarding my filing PILs because
Okay. Gaurav Bhatia, there have been a series of conflicts between Amitabh Thakur, his wife Nutan Thakur, and the Samajwadi Party government. For example, in February this year, they complained to the Uttar Pradesh Lok Ayukt about the allotment of government land and building in Rampur to a private trust of UP Minister Azam Khan. The land was worth 9 crores. It was given to Azam Khan's private trust for 100 rupees. This is allegation. Point 1. We'll bring this up graphic by graphic, some of these conflicts. This is conflict 1. Then you have had, of course, the case against Gayatri Prajapati. But the most impactful one has been Amitabh Thakur recently recorded the dying declaration of journalist Jagendra Singh, where he was in hospital after reportedly being set on fire by the police. He claimed at the behest of a state minister in your government. So if you look at some of the conflicts, the impression created is Mulayam Singh Yadav is trying to silence an honest police officer who had the guts to take him on. Azam Khan का केस देख लीजिए, आप इस जर्नलिस्ट का केस देख लीजिए, माइनिंग मिनिस्टर गायत्री प्रजापति का केस देख लीजिए.
Yeah, Barkha, I would just give you a proof rather than indulging in rhetorics like Mr. Amitabh Thakur. And if Mr. Amitabh Thakur feels that I have incorrectly placed any facts, he can always, refute my facts. If our government was not acting in a fair manner, then a recent complaint given by Nutan Thakur against Gayatri Prajapati would not have been entertained and FIR would not have been registered. FIR against Mr. Gayatri Prajapati on complaint by Nutan Thakur has been registered.
After we went to the CJM court.
Shows
after what? Amitabh Thakur, after what? After what?
After we went to the CJM court, the police didn't register the FIR. We went to the DGP. I, as an IPS officer, had to sit before the DGP office. The police refused to register the FIR. We went to the CJM court. Having no option, the police registered the case.
But was there any order from the court or it happened on its own? Mr. Amitabh Thakur just shed some light.
Yes. No, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia,
please tell the viewers
was given on 10th of July.
Stop giving half facts. Stop giving half facts, Mr. Amitabh Thakur.
See, Mr. Bhatia, you are a Supreme Court lawyer. Half-baked facts are your cases. I am IPS officer.
If I
will only stick to the facts.
From Mr. Amitabh Thakur, when I am trying to place the right facts, it would not be fair. I think, I should get my chance and Mr. Amitabh Thakur then can place his facts. But I will not place any incorrect facts. That is my responsibility.
Can you answer about the threat, Gaurav? I have understood what you've said.
I am answering.
You claim the complaint of rape came earlier. He's saying अगर इतनी जल्दी आए तो 6 महीने कुछ क्यों नहीं हुआ? Please answer. सुधर जाओ का क्या मतलब है? धमकी? How do you justify the धमकी?
Please. I am telling you that first of all, 506 criminal intimidation and threat to life. That is why I said even if we go by the complaint that Mr. Amitabh Thakur has given, it clearly shows that the tone was what? कि मुलायम सिंह यादव जी ने इन्हें बचाया 1, 2 आपसे हमदर्दी रही है, and then third, even the ingredients if taken to be true does not constitute an offense. There is no threat here. Sudhar jaiye because he is violating service rules. Because his wife Nutan Thakur is filing 120 writ petitions PIL, which are not actually PILs, and High Court actually frowns upon her.
Please answer, Gaurav Bhatia. You're questioning the credibility of the Thakurs, but I am asking you, why is Mulayam Singh Yadav using the language of threat? The question is, okay,
So
let
you
the
tell me,
rape
Barka, any
case, let the
objectionable
rape case be
language.
tried on its own merit. Let the
Yes.
rape charge be investigated on its own merit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No,
So
but
for
then,
1 minute, let's
but
put
then,
that aside.
you know where I have an objection, Barka.
What is this?
Where
What
I
is
have
this?
an
सुधर
objection
जाओ,
because media
इससे भी
is
बुरा
saying-
होगा, सुधर
No,
जाओ,
no.
इससे भी बुरा होगा. आपको याद
No,
है
no.
वो दिन जसराना में
Barka,
2006 में
I-
आप कैसे पिटे, इससे भी बुरा होगा. What is this language?
I have an objection to this, that media says that it is SP versus an honest police officer. Now, if a rape accused, if I can call him that because today he's a rape accused on a complaint that was actually given in January, don't you think it was his duty to also point out in public that the rape complaint was there in Jan and it is not political vendetta?
Okay, let me take
Should
last
he also
comments
not
from
have
both of you?
pointed out the fact?
Okay. Amitabh
These
Thakur.
are all very relevant. The High Court judgment that frowns upon him and Nutan Thakur, don't you think that also should have been brought in the public domain?
Amitabh
I am
Thakur.
not saying anything.
Okay, but
I
you
am
have an
talking
answer
about
about Mulayam Singh
the
Yadav's
judgment
language.
of
I'm going to
these.
give both of you. I'm going to give
I
both of you a
have.
chance to
I
make a-
said there is no threat.
Of course
There
it's a
is
threat.
Even,
Of course it's a threat. Of
Not,
course it's a
not
threat.
not admitting any contents, I will still say on merits there is no threat. In fact, he strikes a cordial note. He says, आपको तब भी बचाया था, आप फैमिली के हैं, और आगे उन्होंने कहा कि सुधर जाओ वरना परेशानी होगी.
और अगले दिन
Where is the
FIR
threat
rape का
that he's
और
talking
and the
about?
next day an FIR for rape which has not been pursued for 5 months suddenly gets registered. Gaurav?
No, it was being looked upon by the Women's Commission, I told you.
Okay.
And because an IPS officer was involved, therefore, at least the state, without targeting him, was careful in its approach
Amitabh
to first
Thakur, last
ensure that
word.
it has some credibility prima facie.
Okay, Amitabh Thakur, last word, 30 seconds to both of you. Amitabh Thakur, your 30 seconds.
All I will say is that I will stick to my point because Mr. Gaurav Bhatia trying to discredit me, that is his outlook. That doesn't save Mr. Mulayam Singh's
Mr.
words
Amitabh
of threat
Thakur.
towards me. That's
I
the
am
first
not
thing.
trying to discredit
I mean,
you. I have only placed
Okay,
the
let him
right
speak
fact,
now,
which is
Gaurav.
my
Gaurav, let
duty
him speak.
also.
His 30
just
seconds
to,
and your 30 seconds. Amitabh Thakur, complete your 30 seconds, please.
If Mr. Mr. Bhatia permits me, my 30 seconds starts now.
Yes.
Mr. Bhatia tries to discredit me. I might be a very bad person. That is not the issue.
Yes.
The only issues are that my wife raised a complaint against Mr. Prajapati, who definitely is a blue-eyed boy of Mr. Mulayam Singh. That is the first thing. Second thing, after that, we have been slapped with all kinds of issues, all kind of threat issues, and we want a CBI. Last thing, CBI inquiry. We want security. They are not providing. Let Mr. Gaurav Bhatia ask for a CBI inquiry, and truth will come.
Gaurav Bhatia, 30 seconds. He says, even if I'm a very bad person, you cannot threaten me. A senior politician cannot threaten
I am
a
no
police
one
officer.
I am no one to say whether he's a bad person or not. I am on the principle that he is an IPS officer and he did not share the details of a complaint being pending against him since Jan.
What about the
he
threat?
has violated
What
service
about the
rules. He
threat?
got a notice.
What about the threat?
Barka, I have read the conversation to you. I told you that he did not submit the original audio clip, which he also hasn't denied so far.
Okay.
And the content itself, even if taken to be true,
Okay.
actually is not a threat to him. It does not constitute an offense.
Well, I think
Let me
it
tell you that.
is a
Rest,
case that has
we will
caused...
contest when required.
Okay, Amitabh Thakur in Delhi asking for a CBI probe. We'll leave it there. Many more questions unanswered. We'll continue to keep an eye on this story. Amitabh Thakur, IPS officer, Gaurav Bhatia, senior leader of the Samajwadi Party. Thank you so much.